Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. My name's Teresa and I'm the Car Boot Crafter, and welcome to my Countdown to Christmas series, a series of festive projects to get me ready for the festive season. So welcome to I think it's week 4, which is Cracker Week, and to kick off Cracker Week we're doing a half cracker gift box, which I've come up with. Well, I come up with it, but it was inspired by a project I saw on Intertwine Design, where she made this one. Let's pop that to one side. Where she made this one, which I loved making, but it was very confusing the first time I tried to make it, because these are 1 7/8, I think, and then you've got 1/8 and 5/8 and goodness knows what going on, which completely threw me. And it's not my favorite way of crafting, having to count 3/8, 5/8, whatever. So I thought hopefully I can come up with something that will be a little bit more solid numbers, using 1/2 inches rather than 5/8 and what have you. So this is my prototype, and I've made a few mistakes and, you know, a few score marks where they shouldn't be, but I've used the measurements for this to then come up with this one, and I quite like it. The top is a bit smaller than on my original one, but I think it just gives you a lot more room in the body there. So let me show you how to make this one. Now I am going to do it on white card just so that you can see, and I am again using my favorite Hoogie board. I've already scored this, so it would make it easier, so that when I do the score lines, I'm going to use a pen so you can see, just so that you can see where I'm going and what bits I'm using or cutting away. So start off with your paper on the short side in your scoreboard, and the first scores are going to be at 2, 4, 6, and again at 8. So I'm going to go all the way down there so you can see that. Okay, so 2, 4, 6 and 8, and that leaves you this tiny little, just over 1/4 inch on this side, which we're going to use as tabs. Now don't worry, it is big enough, especially if you use something like a narrow red liner tape or some strong glue. I know sometimes they make these a little bit smaller and give a bigger tab, but I thought that was plenty enough. So once you've done that, you're going to turn it. So we've got our smallest tab bit at the top. Now pop that in, and then we're going to score at 2 inches, again at 7 inches, at 8 inches, at 9 inches, and then at 11 inches. Okay, we're not finished yet. We're going to do 2 more scores, and I've left these, skipped them over just because they are different rather than to confuse. So the next one we're going to do at 9.5, but we're only going to go down to this score line here. We're not going to go across, because this then leaves it free to be our lid for our box. So we're going to score at 9.5 all the way through till we get to that line there, and then we're going to leave it. Then we're going to flip over our paper, and we're going to score on this side at 7.5. Okay, now we're scoring that side. I'm just going to put a line in here, whoops, so that you can just see where we've scored at that 7.5. It'll just help later on when I'm explaining some of the cuts we're doing. Okay, so that's all our scoring done. Ooh, ignore that, that is not a line. That's all our scoring done, so I can pop that away. Okay, now what we want to do is fold our papers this way. I'm not worried about these lines just yet. I'm going to fold on these ones, so I'm just going to use that score and reinforce those folds like that, all the way on that 2, 4, 6 and 8 orientation. So fold in again, and I am going to reinforce these because now I'm going to bring in my envelope punch board. Okay, now if you haven't got an envelope punch board, don't worry, you can do this, still do this. You're just going to cut these here on those where those 3 lines are. So I'm going to pop my first fold in, so that's the tab end. So I'm going to pop that in, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up. If I pop that in like that, I'm going to line this up so that my papers here, this edge, it's almost at the 4, not quite, but as another visual guide, I'm making sure that that score line is in the middle of my rounder in there, just so as I've got it right in the middle. Okay, so almost at the 4 here, just a tiny breath away from it, and then using this as a visual line and making sure that it's right in the middle of that punch in the middle there. Whoops, you just line that up, so like that. Hope you can see it. Okay, and then I'm going to just punch. So it's shifted again. Right, so I'm just going to punch, and I'm going through 2 layers. Okay, then I'm going to bring it over and do exactly the same, using that visual line, having this just a hair's breadth under the 4, and then using my visual line there to make sure it's in the middle, and punch again. And I'm going to carry on doing that all the way across my cracker. Almost there, visual line just under the 4, and you know what, if it does shift a little bit, it's not the end of the world, as long as it's not too much. We just need that as a visual guide. So we've now got all of our pieces punched out. If you, as I said, if you haven't got one of these envelope punchers, then what you would do is fold and then bring your scissors in, cut down the middle of that score line, follow that down about a centimetre, and then come in each side at an angle like that, and you'll get the same effect there. Okay, so once we've done that, we're then going to work on the bottom. So first thing we're going to do, and I'm going to bring my pen back in so I can show you, is we're going to get rid of this bit. So we don't need this. So I'm going to cut that away, and I'm also going to cut a slight angle there just to give a nicer, neater finish. So I'm going to grab my scissors, and what I'm also going to do is I'm going to cut on this side of the score line. So I'm cutting the score line completely away. So just on that side, so that we get rid of it. It just makes everything fit ever such more snugly. Okay, so that's got rid of that piece. Okay, and then I'm going to cut up each one of these to that point again, so to that first fold. In fact, if I fold it over, that might also help a little bit. So I'm just going to cut up all of those, but I am going to cut away the score line as well. So I'm going to cut up both sides of that score line. So all the way up one side of the score line, then all the way up on the other side of the score line, like that. So that's my score line, and I'm going to do it on the next one. So cutting either side of the score line again. Let's tuck that one out the way, and again this side of the score line, so that we've got that. And then on the last one, either side of the score line again. Okay, it just, when we come to fold the box later on, I found it just makes life so much easier. I'm going to bring in my little tiny little scissors that make it really easy for me to then come in close and just cut those off. So keeping those back, I'm just going to cut that away, and the last one. Okay, so I'll pop them to one side out of my way, and then that's what we've got. So we've got those tiny little gaps between the tabs. Okay, next thing I want to do is to work at the top here. So this is going to be the lid, so it's going to be this bit here. So we don't need all of these. Oh no, sorry, this one's the lid. It's these we don't need. Sorry, let me grab my pen and I'll show you. So we're going to get rid of all of this here, all the way down to that, you know, that score line that we did there, that we stopped here. That's a bit of the ink, so ignore that. We stopped the score line there, so we're going to get rid of all of that. So I'm going to cut down again. I'm going to stay this side of the score line because I want to cut the score line away, so all the way down, and then I'm going to cut along that 9.5 inch score line that we added down past 4 of those vertical score lines. Okay, so that gives us that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut between these ones, and again I want to get rid of the score line, so I'm cutting down either side of the score line. So I'm going to cut down this side, and I'm only going as far as this line here, and I'm going to come this side and I'm going to cut down this one as well. Okay, I'm not going to cut down this one because we're going to get rid of this piece as well. So I'm coming in, cutting down the score line, and the same with this one. I'm going to cut on this side and get rid of this piece as well. So we're getting rid of this piece and this piece as well. With this piece I've cut down, and I'm going to come in at an angle like that, because we're going to use this as a tab. And then I'm going to fold these two back out of the way, because I'm now going to cut this one away. So I've got those out the way so I'm not going to accidentally cut them. So I'm just going to come all the way down, and that's got rid of that as well. So now we have that, and that piece is free from there. Oh, I need to cut that score line away. Let's pop that back out the way, and that's that score line gone as well. Okay, so we've got that. Right, now then I'm going to come to this end where we've done that punch and we've got that funny shape going on. I want to get rid of that. So because this piece is a tab, this piece is going to be a tab, I'm going to come in at a slight angle and cut that away, and the same with this one, at a slight angle and cut it away. So now we've got that. Okay, and the last thing I'm going to do Oh, that's another thing I want to do, but I'm just going to do this end first. So we've got this, which will be the lip that folds in, and then these two will be these bits that fold in as well. So what I'm going to do to make it fit nice and easy, I'm going to just angle them. If you've got a corner rounder, you can use a corner rounder, but nice and simple, I'm just going to cut a tiny little sliver away on both sides of this one, tiny little slithers, and the same on this one. Let's tuck that out of the way, and this one, and then this one as well. Just a tiny little notch, just to give us a little bit of room to tuck everything in. There we go. Okay, so now we want to work on the bottom. So the easiest way to work this out is, this is going to be the back of the box. So if I fold that around, I can see that this is going to be the front. So this is the one I want to keep. We're working on the bottom now. So I want to keep this nice and whole. So I'm going to fold that back out, and then I can see that these three, I just want to cut off a tiny little slither off them, just so as again it makes fixing the box together nice and easy. So I'm only cutting off 2/8 of an inch. It's just a little slither. There's no real maths about it, just whatever you're comfortable with, because actually, and that piece is even smaller, so we're not going to worry. It just makes folding up the box that much easier. Okay, so bring that one back out. That's our front of the box is this one. Now if you wanted to decorate your box, now's the time to do it. If you want to pop on, if you're using plain paper like this, although I used a pattern paper and just added a topper on it, but entirely up to you. If you wanted to decorate your papers, so these boxes, so this one is 5 inches in length by 2 inches across, so you would do your papers well, whatever you feel comfortable. So I imagine I would probably do my papers at something like 4 3/4 by 1 3/4 for each one of those, and then the top bit up here, that's 1 inch by again 2 inches. So my papers would probably be something like 1 3/4 by 3/4, just to go in those there. But I'm not doing that. This is just demonstrating how I made this box, and all of mine will be made with pattern paper and a topper on the front. So let's just assemble the box then. So what we need to do now is to make sure we've got all our folds. So I've already folded those and these ones up here, so it's these ones here I want to fold. So what you want is, you want that one to be a valley fold, a mountain fold. So we fold it down and use our bone folder. I'm going to skip this one because this one also needs to be a mountain fold. So we're folding that down, and then I'm going to fold this one as a mountain fold, but I'm coming this side. Sorry, from this side it will be a valley fold, so from this side I'm going to make it a mountain fold. I know it gets confusing, I do apologise if I have confused you there, but you'll see when I've done exactly what I mean. So we now have that, so a mountain, a valley and a mountain fold, which looks a bit like that, like a V going on. Okay, so, and I'm just finger creasing the inside of this one because I need the pressure to fold it up, hold it up a bit. Okay, so let's start putting it together finally. Okay, so I'm going to use my red liner tape, if I can find the end, which is not always easy on these rolls, is it? There we go. So I'm going to put it on the 2 tabs. So I've got this long tab here, and then I've got my little one up here, which is the top of, near the top of my box. So let's just cut that away. That one. Now the easiest way to do this now is to get my pokey tool, fold that over like that, so it's just one across, and take these off. Let's get rid of the liner. As I said, you can use some nice strong glue here if that's easier for you, or your preferred method of sticking things down. So I brought that over, I've got my glue or my double-sided tape on there, and I'm just going to lift this side up and bring it over and press it down. And there we have our box starting. Now, if I've got this at the back like that, I know that this is my front, so I'm going to fold that piece back, and I can then start gluing down these pieces. So I'm going to bring the back piece in first, and then using one of my glues, I'm going to pop some glue on there, trying to do it so you can see what I'm doing. Only problem is I can't see what I'm doing there. So some glue on there, and I'm going to bring that side one down. I'm going to put some more glue on there. Now this time I'm going to put a line of glue at the top of this one, so I know that it catches, and bring that across. I'm just going to square that off, and then this one, which is the front of my box, I'm going to line the glue down in a U shape down the side and across the top, and then a little squiggle in the middle to hold, and bring that across. And what that does is you have a nice rounded bottom going on there. Let me just bring in this one and I'll show you what I mean. So it's just a nice rounded bottom, and the front you haven't got any edges showing at all. Just gives that nice bevel shape there, cutting away those crease lines, just gives you a nice shape to the bottom of the box like that. So that's the bottom of our box done, and we can push that down, and because we've valid and mounting folded, that'll just fold in like a cracker like that. Then these two pieces fold in, and we tuck that little lip in to there, and that's how we make our cracker box. And then you decorate it any way you like. As I say, this one, I've just taken one of the toppers that I've got in my little collection of pre-made toppers and popped it on like that. I can use any size or any shape I want, because it doesn't matter if it goes over the sides. This one does ever so slightly. It just adds to the charm and the cracker-like quality of the boxes, I think. So there you have it. This is my table decorations or cracker box box. So I hope you liked it. I hope you like the measurements. I just thought that going with solid numbers or half numbers makes it so much easier to make, and none of that faffing about trying to figure out which line is the 5/8 and which line is the 3/8 and goodness knows what, which so many of these boxes that I've seen do seem to do. Anyway, thanks for joining me. I hope you've seen my challenge in one of my videos last week. I am on my road to 500, so do pop back and check that out. That's the haul and challenge video, which I uploaded a week ago Sunday. So do go and have a look and help me on my road to 500. It would be much appreciated. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.